Hello, everyone. Welcome to what is a test episode, maybe not, maybe the first episode of the Spawn Trap podcast. With me, I have my co-host, Court.
Hello, everyone.
And Jordan.
What's going on, guys?
And we are setting up this podcast. This is just a test. It's right before E3. I did want to get this stuff going for E3 because I think a lot of stuff's going to be announced. There's going to be a lot of stuff that I would love to talk about. There's a lot of, like rumors and expectations of what's going on this E3. So I don't know if you guys been following any of that stuff.
Well, everything that you've been posting in the Discord, I've been following that for sure. And then just various people that I follow on Twitter. So I'm super excited, especially for the Nintendo Direct.
That just got, as we're recording this, which is on June 3rd, on a Thursday, they just announced the Nintendo Direct, which is interesting. So I think they said it's 40 minutes, focused exclusively on software. And the rumors are that there's going to be a Switch Pro announcement. Although I think the rumor said that they're intending to announce it before E3 to get that news out of the way so that they can just focus on the games. So far, that hasn't happened.
Yeah. It's it'll be interesting after the the leak online. Now they're kind of like, okay, I guess we have to talk about this and let people know.
Do you think it's gonna happen right before E3? Like they're gonna do like a soft announcement, like surprise on social media or anything? Like this is the new hardware?
It wouldn't be a surprise if they did that, because they've done that before, where it's like they'll announce it an hour or so before, and then they'll just come out with like a direct and be like, "Hey, it's happening right now," and then everyone has to rush to their computers to watch.
They do like to do those last minute announcements, and
right, keeps us on edge, keeps us on the edge of our seats.
I like to do. What's that?
What is the Nintendo Direct? What is that?
So it is on Tuesday, June 15th. So that's their game showcase. So that's their E3 presentation. So they said it's 40 minutes long. It's going to focus on software. So it's primarily their games. I still think, even though they said that, I still think if they don't do a Switch Pro announcement before that Direct, I have a feeling they're still going to mention it in the Direct. So it can just be like a misleading thing, like we're just talking about software. But
we've added headphones.
That would be nice.
And an audio for a mic.
Bluetooth capability. The rumor is that there's like a new dock that has a built-in Ethernet port rather than having to use an adapter.
Interesting.
Yeah,
that's good because they've had a lot of issues with their internet connections.
Yeah,
for the most part. So,
I think that the showcase is mostly they're going to show like a lot of their indie stuff, maybe some like new games from third-party partners. It would be nice, since EA is skipping out on E3, if they showed finally some EA games, because I know that they're pretty absent on the Switch. But I think we're mostly going to see like Mario Golf, Pokemon Legends Arceus, maybe some news there, or the new
gameplay,
Diamond and Pearl remakes.
Yeah, I'm so excited for those.
Yeah, I don't have a Nintendo,
and then I did hear a slight rumor about another Fire Emblem game that they might announce that is in the workings, but it's kind of just hearsay and assumptions at this point. But I have my fingers crossed. Yeah. I'm now officially a Fire Emblem fan.
What were you saying, Jordan?
Mario Golf sounds awesome.
It's from the trailer that they showed off. It looks a lot of fun. I don't know if I'll get it.
EA games. They have their own sport games.
They have all the Mario games.
They just like throw Mario in the mix, and it is by far a better sports game.
EA is a lot more than sports, though. Although I think that the sports games are a big missed opportunity, I think, for EA on the Switch, because like FIFA, like alone, that's like one of the biggest games that you can think of.
FIFA was on the Switch.
Is FIFA on the Switch?
Yes, I can confirm.
Do you
And
have FIFA on
they,
Switch?
I don't personally have it,
Oh,
but
sure, yeah,
I,
FIFA 21.
yeah, FIFA 21, and then I think 20 was on, but you could only get um the special edition for it, or the Champions edition.
Mm.
That's one with the that one soccer player. I forget his name. Oh, it's been so long since I've watched soccer. And then they did have, well, it's not an EA game, but they had NBA 2K21
Oh,
as
really?
well.
Oh, I
Yeah.
didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah. But again, too, like, if you just put Mario on the cover and have a Mario basketball game, like, that will like, just sell so much. Like, everyone's like, oh my God, golf. Yes,
You
it's
seen that?
Mario.
Did you see any of the Sonic announcements? I think it was last week.
No, I didn't get a chance to,
There's
unfortunately.
there's an Olympic Games game that they showed off, but one of the things that they added was not Sonic himself. It's somebody dressed in a Sonic mascot suit. So it's like
What?
a full like human sized Sonic. It looks really weird. But could you imagine like
What?
FIFA featuring a guy in a Mario mascot costume?
Oh my God. Amazing. Like, honestly though, Mario Strikers was
Oh
such a good
yes.
game for the GameCube. And, like, that is my favorite soccer game to play on console.
Now, here's the thing.
And you
So
could hit people as much as you wanted. Bring that back, please, Nintendo. Bring it back.
So I'll see if I can find the article for it, but I'm pretty sure that Nintendo. So the developers of Mario Strikers. Let me see if I can add some more search terms to find it. But the developers of Mario Strikers made. I think they worked on that newer Luigi's Mansion game. Since then, yeah, Nintendo acquires Luigi's Mansion 3 studio Next Level Games. They developed Mario Strikers. So people are thinking after they did Luigi's Mansion 3, like this is a small development studio. They haven't worked on much. And
Yeah.
if Nintendo acquired them, it's probably for some big first party game. And they're known for making Mario Strikers. So people are wondering if Mario Strikers is
Yes.
making a comeback. Do you think we might hear something about that this E3, or do you think it's too soon?
I don't think it's too soon because like Luigi's Mansion 3 came out like last year, so they've had a year to figure it out. So I'm like, that's what I'm hoping
game
for, is that,
development
like,
takes longer than that, though.
I know. I wouldn't know because I don't work in game development and be like, oh yeah, they should have done it by now. But yeah, I feel like it's going to be a really big like Nintendo Direct, and then obviously we'll see what the new Smash character is.
Oh yeah,
Standard
I would
issue.
expect a
Every
Smash reveal for sure.
Yeah. So
Um,
yeah, I'm hoping they maybe make, like, at least to be like, if it's for next year,
mhm.
that they announce Mario Strikers, because I will be 100% on board.
Well, let's go over to PlayStation's missing out this year, so the other big name is Xbox, and I think just to get, since Jordan doesn't have any Nintendo consoles or anything, what are you looking forward to seeing from the Xbox/Bethesda showcase that's happening on the 12th, I think it is. I'll have to look at the schedule here.
I know some of the games that I'm probably most excited for. I think everyone's excited for Halo Infinite. It's got to be like the top one. So I'm hoping to see some more stuff for that. Bethesda, so since Xbox bought Bethesda, right, they now own with it. So
Yeah.
doesn't that mean all now future games will only be for Xbox and PC and not so much for PlayStation anymore from Bethesda?
There
So,
hasn't been any official stance on that. A lot of people are asking that question. I think I think there was an interview about that. I don't remember who was in the interview, so I apologize for misspeaking. But I think their idea is for Xbox exclusivity or what's available on their platform. They don't want to focus so much on exclusive titles, but the fact that it is available first or it plays better or best on those consoles or their platforms. But I think that you don't acquire a studio that big without the intention of making exclusive games. Yeah, so I think there are going to be exclusive games for sure.
Yeah, because I think Bethesda is I don't know, Bungie was, but I think Bethesda is my favorite game studio, so I'm looking forward to seeing anything new they come out with or any exclusives. And like I said, Halo, I'm really excited for to see anything new on that.
Do you
I think
think?
And
everyone's excited for Halo.
Do you think
yeah,
Halo's gonna be delayed again?
I don't know. I hope it's this year because it's the 20th anniversary of Halo, so everyone I think is pretty excited. Like although it was delayed last year, everyone's like, well, it's being released on the 20th year of Halo, so it kind of makes sense. So it'll be very nice. Uh, as long as I take the time with the game and it's finished beautifully, I'm okay with it being delayed because after we've seen other games that have been released early and flopped, I'm okay with them taking as long as they would like. I'm also really excited for Battlefield 3 though. So
So that there is a Battlefield announcement that's happening next week. So I think on Wednesday on the 9th.
yeah, that's another thing I'm excited for because I'm hoping it plays like Battlefield 3, but with some new, um, obviously with better graphics. So that would be very very cool. But I heard it also has some futuristic stuff in it too, or it's like just a little bit more
Battlefield
futuristic
in
than what
space.
I don't think to that extent, but I think there's some more. I think there's some more weapons that are going to be a little bit more not non-existent or more futuristic. Either way, those are probably the two big games I'm excited for. I'm just a really big first-person shooter gamer, so I'm always looking at more of those.
Yeah, I like I said, I don't know if we're actually going to be releasing this podcast. It is just a test to see how like we all vibe and everything, and see how this works. I will say if
Yeah.
I do release it, if you want to get into Battlefield before or after the announcement that's happening, right now on Prime Gaming, so if you have Amazon Prime or Twitch Prime or anything, you have Prime Gaming subscription, they give you free games every month. One of those offers is a code on Origin for Battlefield 4. I think it's Battlefield 4. I'll have to check again. But you can claim that game to play for free on Origin if you've never played a Battlefield game and you want to play that for free. So I take advantage of that. Yeah, for me, I don't even know what to expect from Microsoft. I think on the Bethesda side, there's Starfield. For sure they're gonna need to talk about that because I think people are losing their minds on Starfield when all they've really shown is the title. So I don't really understand why. But yeah, it just the fact that so it's a 90-minute showcase. So there's going to be a lot, and the fact that they're saying it's an Xbox and Bethesda game showcase, I imagine there's going to be a lot of Bethesda titles that are being shown.
Damn.
Yeah, so I am looking forward to that for sure.
We might be getting a look at Destiny as well. I might get a look at the new DLC for Destiny, which I believe is called the Witch Queen. So we might get a look into hopefully to see what that one's about.
Yeah, I should look at the list of partners on the E3 website because I don't know if I saw Bungie. So I don't know if they're gonna show anything. But they could. It could show up. There's only 2 places I think that it'll show up. It'll be either the Xbox conference or it'll be the PC game show. I think those are the only places that you'll see that. Or Bungie just might do their own thing and just have like a YouTube
like a teaser release.
Yeah, or they'll have their own like showcase on YouTube saying like, oh, here's our latest update. We've made a huge YouTube video for it. Here, check it out. Aside from E3. So I don't know. But yeah, I think that is a big possibility. But the date is June 13th, so I did have that wrong. So it's the second day of E3. But I have Games Radar has a breakdown here. Yeah, we're planning on doing like co-stream reactions if we can.
Yes.
So I'm setting up a new we all stream on our own and have content on our own channels. So you can follow us individually, but I'm starting a new channel just for this podcast and for like live stream reactions and stuff like that. so we can all be like on one screen and reacting together, and there's one space for all that. Because I think that's pretty much my goal, or one of my goals for this thing is to do these live events. And so we're trying to set up for E3 and getting everything working. So this test podcast is also a part of that, just making sure everything works.
I'm having some technical difficulties, so as soon as I get those all fixed up,
we will work it out in time.
Yeah, hopefully I'll be able to. Then I can once everything's all set up, then I can do more. I can spend more time into like research and stuff and looking at what's upcoming, and maybe I can hop in Steam and do some streams with you guys.
Yes.
So I'm not constantly just.
I would like to do like these like I'd like to do like co-op gameplay. Especially like me and you are on Xbox a lot. I think it'd be easier for us, especially if I think do you have Game Pass? I'm assuming you do. Yeah. So like there's always gonna be like stuff that we can like jump in and like test out. So I think that'd be fun for sure.
Even Game Pass is just great for even like arcade games, just to play with your friends and just join and play something silly. It doesn't need a story, doesn't really need like the best graphics, just something fun. Like it's well worth it. I
tested out Knockout City last week, which was on Game Pass because it's part of EA Play. It's because EA Play, you have access to EA Play with Game Pass. I don't know if it's just Game Pass Ultimate or Game Pass in general. I have Game Pass Ultimate, so so I tested that game out. That game's a lot of fun. So it's nice seeing like games that you ultimately might not have checked out if you didn't have that subscription that gives you access to all these different games. I will say though that since I played it, I guess there's like a 10-day trial that they had for that game, and now they're making it free for everyone to play up until rank, I think it's 25. So I would say it's absolutely worth checking out because it's pretty fun. But yeah, in terms of the E3 schedule, like just because a lot of stuff got announced before we started doing this test podcast, so I'd like to like break down what's going on and what we can expect. This Saturday on June 5th, there's the Guerrilla Collective 2 Day 1. It's very confusing. I think this a couple E3s ago there was like this community need for showcasing indie games that get lost in the shuffle of these big studio announcements during E3. And I know that the Kind of Funny Game Showcase was one of those outlets, and there's some other ones too. So I believe the Guerrilla Collective started as like an amalgamation of everything. And this is their second year doing that. So they have it set for 2 days, and I think last year was 2 hours for each of the two showcases. So it looks like 4 hours of indie game footage for stuff that you might have skipped otherwise during E3. So the first day is happening on the Saturday. I'm looking forward to that because I've seen some I've been seeing some games that I otherwise might have missed. So I think it's a good showcase to see like some games that you might think you enjoy that you might not have caught otherwise. Immediately following that is, I think it's immediately following that. So it's the Black Voices in Gaming showcase, which is, there should be a description here. Stream dedicated to highlighting Black voices in the gaming industry, showcasing games being created by Black developers, those featuring Black protagonists, and more. And it looks like they did that last year too. I don't know how I somehow missed that. But I guess this is the second year that they're doing that too.
Awesome.
And on June 10th, so this is 2 days before E3, and I just think it's hilarious. It's the Summer Games Fest opening day, so there's going to be like a lot of announcements and stuff there. This is spearheaded by Jeff Keighley, big name in the gaming industry, does the Game Awards, has hosted a lot of different other gaming shows and everything. He actually used to be a pretty prominent part of E3 as well. But I think it was in before the pandemic. He's like, you know what? I'm done with E3. I'm going to start my own thing. And I think I have a feeling that's partially due to, like, maybe he did want to do his own thing because he knows how to to present and do all this stuff, especially with the Game Awards. I think it's partially due to that controversy the ESA had, where they leaked out all the information from all their like attendees, or not attendees, but like press and everything. So like a bunch of people got doxxed, and
oh wow,
just
I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, it just left like a bad taste for the ESA for that reason. And it's funny because immediately after was the pandemic, and they had to cancel the E3 shows that year, which I think was perfect for Jeff Keighley starting his Summer Game Fest, because he's like, yeah, everything's going to be done virtually. So we're going to work with all our partners and get everything shown digitally. And I think it worked out for him. So he's trying to like, to me, it's like he's showing up E3 like, I'm going to do it first, and I'm going to have big announcements.
I'm going to do it right before yours starts, and mine's going to be even better.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Also, I love when I see that.
Yeah. There's also a special performance by the band Weezer. And I think I read somewhere that it's going to be stream safe. So if you're streaming the show, you don't have to worry about a copyright strike or claim or anything. So sounds good. Also, there's over 30 game publishers such as Activision, Epic Games, PlayStation, and Xbox. So if there are any big PlayStation reveals, it sounds like it's going to happen in the Summer Game Fest, since it doesn't look like PlayStation has anything planned for E3 so far that I know of.
And he's Canadian too.
Yeah, you didn't know that?
Right? I'm just literally looking it up right now because I'm like, the name sounds familiar, but I'm like, okay, like let's see whomst he might be.
Yeah, I think he's worked on Electric Playground and game trailers and all that stuff too. So
nice, yeah.
IGN's also doing their own thing on the 12th. It looks like I thought it was on the 11th. I guess not. Okay, on the 12th, IGN Expo they're having will offer new game reveals, never before seen gameplay, and announcements. So they're doing their own thing that day, and it looks like. I was waiting for this. I guess I missed this announcement. It looks like Devolver Digital is having their showcase on the same day. That one I'm looking forward to. I don't know really what to expect. The Devolver Digital E3. Have you ever seen any of their E3 showcases? I think we co-streamed one. Yeah,
we did.
It's
yeah,
crazy,
and
right?
It was the most chaotic thing I'd ever witnessed. But it was amazing.
Yeah. It's like, it's not even the games. I just want to see what kind of chaos is going to happen.
Exactly. I just didn't know what to expect with every segment. So.
Also, that day is the second day of the Guerrilla Collective. And I think they're also... So, yeah, immediately following that is the Wholesome Direct. I remember... So, if you don't know what this is, it's basically wholesome indie games. And they're saying over 75 games that they're showcasing. I watched this last year. These games didn't seem to do anything for me personally, but it is very much the description. If you want just lighthearted, wholesome games, if you're looking for that, that's what
those are the kinds of playing with like friends, just like the ones you don't know about and you just kind of discover. They're like winner of all those. Yeah,
so I think it might conflict with the Xbox one. No, Xbox is the next day, so it's fine. So it might. I'm wondering if it conflicts with anything. I thought it did. I guess not. Right after that is the Ubisoft Forward. I think that's one of the ones I'm most looking forward to, other than the Nintendo Direct. I don't know how long it is. Games Radar isn't saying. But I'm assuming there's going to be some Assassin's Creed content, Far Cry. The big thing...
Yeah, Far Cry is going to be a big one, too.
Yeah, for sure.
I think they already showed some of the gameplay for it. I don't know if they've announced a release date.
I don't know, actually.
Yeah, or maybe they will.
I know a lot of people are expecting some Splinter Cell news. It's not happening. Give it up.
I have a love-hate relationship with Far Cry now. I love the games. Far Cry 3 is probably by far one of my top 5 favorite games I've ever played. But then when I played 4, 4 came out with this whole um, you were able to play the game and you could go any way you wanted. There was all these different like routes you could take, but they only let you have one save slot. You had to delete your
Oh
save file
wow!
to play to like try it out a different way.
Could
And I
you
was like,
create like another profile on the console to?
you could create a new account, yeah, but it was like then all the achievements and stuff for doing it the alternate way would be on a
Mhm.
different account. So I was very
That's
like
true.
I was like so
That's a
let down
bummer.
by it. Yeah, I know. So after 4, I was like, I wanted to get Primal. I thought that was really cool, and they did the same thing. So I just never got into
Mm.
Primal because 3 was only one way you could play the game, but you
Yeah.
had like a save slot. You could do anything you wanted. Another one to play the campaign. Another one to just you could keep deleting and starting the game over. But then the fourth one was like so many different ways to play and so many different like characters, like allies. You could ally yourself with different groups, but you had to delete your save if you wanted to play it again, and that was very disappointing.
That is interesting. I didn't know that.
That's why I don't know why they got rid of that feature. So that always upset me with Ubisoft on that.
They do tend to tie a lot of their games over to their service. Used to be called Uplay, now I think it's called Ubisoft Connect. Though I don't think I've never really tried to do a multiple save thing before. I do play quite a few Ubisoft games, so I don't know if I've noticed that issue on other games. So that's interesting. Yeah.
Does Assassin's Creed allow you to have multiple saves?
See, I've never tried. And it's very Assassin's Creed is very not so much the new games, which I haven't gotten into yet, but in terms of the older games, they're very much like a single player campaign story. You're playing through the story from beginning to end. So if you want to start a new save, you might as well essentially just restart from the beginning. Like you don't need to get back into your old save for any reasons other than like collectibles and getting achievements and stuff. So yeah. So yeah. I've never noticed because I've never had a need to do that.
Yeah, see, that's why I like one where I can have a save it's all finished, all the collectibles are done, I have all my upgrades, I can just go and be like a god in the game. But if I want to start over and just play like some of the beginning levels, I have a save where I can just start over, play a different way, or use a different weapon, and play it like upgrade it how I want. And then I can have a third save for whatever reason. The more saves in a game to me, the better. So I was really let down with a few of Ubisoft games and what they got rid of.
Maybe they'll say something at the Ubisoft Forward about that. It'd be interesting.
Give us more save files.
What I want to see, or what I want to see or not see, I guess I don't know, is the Beyond Good and Evil. Any sort of update or mention to Beyond Good and Evil. I've never even played the previous game, but they showcased that trailer. I don't know how many years ago it was at this point, because it feels like every year I'm like, where's Beyond Good and Evil? They showcased that trailer, which I think is a prequel to the really old game. And it looked fun. I'm like, this looks like something I want to get into. And maybe I'll play the old game. The old game is for the original Xbox, I think. Let me look it up. But I know that a sequel was made long before then, and the game essentially like got quietly canceled. And then they showed a trailer on like a new version of the game. So they haven't said anything since. I'm like, is the game quietly canceled again? Did they do this a second time? So in my mind, if they're not showing Beyond Good and Evil this year, that game is dead to me. I don't think it's happening.
Oh no.
So I don't know if you guys know about Beyond Good and Evil or not.
I think I saw a bit of it, but I think it was a while ago.
Yeah, 2003 is when the original game came out. Sequel announced 2008 that there was going to be a second game. And I think nothing happened. And then 2016
for the original Xbox? Was this game for the original?
Yeah,
Xbox?
For the original Xbox, yeah.
Okay, I think I did play that. I don't think I ever finished it, but I believe I did play this. Wow, that's very nostalgic.
Yeah, and then I think 2016 is when they showed off the trailer for. No, that doesn't seem right. That seems like way too long ago. It could be it though, because I know like every E3, I'm like, where's Beyond Good and Evil?
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully, if they don't show it, I don't have faith that game's ever being made. It looks like Gearbox has something planned too. I think that was announced today. June 12th, so the same day. So there's a lot of announcements on one day. So the first day of E3. There's no time set yet, but I imagine it's just gonna be like a big showcase of just Borderlands stuff. Maybe showing something from the movie. I don't know. What do you think?
I'm really excited about the movie. I haven't really looked at the entire cast, but from the reviews I've seen on Twitter, a lot of people are really upset with the casting. But I don't know.
Why though? Because I think every time I see a casting, and I completely forget who's in the movie now because I honestly like I'm not a Borderlands fan, so I don't much care. But I know every time I see
no matter what with casting, the people always have to share their opinions on why they don't like it.
Yeah, but every time they announce somebody like an actor, I'm like, oh, that's a big name actor. They're getting some like big talent for this movie.
Yeah, there's a few people. Like I believe Kevin Hart is supposed to be Roland, which is that one's a lot. There's a lot of controversy on that one too because there's a lot of people who
because of who Kevin Hart is, and like the controversies around him.
I don't think I've seen a lot of that. I just think a lot of it honestly was more due to they don't like he works out a lot. He's in good shape. I think he could pull off.
Oh, because of his size?
Yeah.
Because he's vertically challenged.
A lot of people just don't think he's tall enough, and I'm like, well, there's a ways around that,
it's a fictional adaptation.
Yeah,
like
you can Hagrid was as tall as he was. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, it worked well with the hobbits. They made
yeah. Even Tom Cruise, he's short. They make him look tall.
I don't know. So like, I'm not into Borderlands. Does the character that he's playing does he need to be tall?
Yes. Well, Roland's a big character. He's like a very you technically like the gamers play as him in the first game, and in the second game he becomes your mentor. And I won't go into any spoilers, but I mean the game has been out for years. But
he dies. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I have never seen the game. I'm assuming that's probably
in terms of the story, though. Does he need to be a big buff guy? Like, is there any aspect about that he needs to play?
For Roland's character, probably not. I don't know who they have to play Brick, but Brick needs to be a giant character. Like almost like it needs to be kind of like a dumb, very muscular character. I don't know who they're gonna
Rock.
Get. I would call it Rock dumb, but yeah, like someone more built like the Rock needs to play like him. I don't want to see like a small. I don't want to see like Will Ferrell play like Rick.
Wow.
Oh, but we made him look really, really jacked. And I'm like, no. Get someone who looks like I think who could play the Brick is his name's Brick. Drax could play Brick. What's his
Dave name? Bautista?
Dave Bautista could play him because you kind of did this. It's almost the same character as Drax to be.
They modeled it after him.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so I just seen some controversy on the characters they picked, but I'm excited for it. I hope it's good because if it goes well, then I think we could see. Hopefully, we could see maybe like a Gears of War or a Halo movie. Those are kind of
a Halo movie / TV show / a lot of projects, like live action projects, have been in development in regards to Halo for so many years, and none of them have ever turned into anything.
Yeah, like Forward Unto Dawn was fantastic. The live action trailers they have for their movies were great. I think it was called Halo Nightfall, was a little live action miniseries of Halo. Those are great. I would like more Halo stuff, but I think Gears of War needs the time to shine though. It's one of my just because
you want Gears of War movie?
Yeah, I would love a Gears of War movie. I think you could. I think it would be great. And just make 3. I think it could be just a nice trilogy. Just do the Gears 1 through 3, or yeah, I think you could get. I think you get enough movie out of that.
Do you think there's going to be a rise of good video game movies? Because I know for the longest time they just haven't worked.
Yeah, like I know that I've seen more of them, like Ratchet and Clank. I went and saw it. I don't know much about Ratchet and Clank, so I don't know if it did.
That was a movie.
Yeah, they made a movie with the remake of the first game. Like
was that good? Because I've seen it, but I don't know enough about Ratchet and Clank to know if it was.
I will have to ask my brother because he's the Ratchet and Clank fan. I've only ever seen him play the games. I haven't jumped into those games yet.
I played them, but it was so long ago that when I saw the movie, I was like, the movie's just okay, but it's not also my thing. So I don't want to say that it was good or extremely well done or terrible. I don't think I have the.
I will say I've heard good things about the Mortal Kombat movie. I've heard good things about the. What'd you think?
You know what? I liked it. And I liked it, but I think it could have been better, and it wasn't what I was expecting. I don't want to shoot out spoilers for it at all, but
the first one.
They said, I can't remember the first one. I don't even know if I did. It was, that. But this one I liked.
No,
it was saying it was so they all have tattoos, and it's like a ancient thing that shows you that you've been selected for a ancient tournament, right? But they kind of steered away from the tournament in the show. Like they were like, you know what? If the bad guys are going to follow the rules, we're not going to follow the rules. And then they just sort of all fight, and there wasn't much of a tournament to it. And I think that was very disappointing to me.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I've heard good things about the movie. I've heard good things about the Sonic movie.
I like the action. Jess knows nothing. Jess knows nothing about.
Well, I think that's why people like that movie. From what I've heard, is just that it embodies.
It's a movie about a fighting game.
Yeah, it's a movie about a fighting game. So
I'm gonna be upset
with a lot of gore and violence, right? I mean, that's what the game is known for. That's the game that spawned the ESRB rating system in the U.S. is because of how violent it was.
There was definitely gore. It's not necessarily the most gore I've ever seen in a movie, but it was there. And my girlfriend watched it and she thought it was good, but it wasn't like a tearjerker or it wasn't like blown away. It wasn't like
it's like
I watched the most amazing movie ever.
Eye candy and fan service is pretty much
Yeah.
If
you want an action movie with not a huge bunch, not an amazing story, it was good.
I will say, aside there's the Sonic movie too. I've heard good things about, but I haven't really seen anything other than for newer video game movies that I thought were good. I've only seen Detective Pikachu, which I thought was fantastic. If you're into Pokemon and you've been waiting for a live action Pokemon movie, that's as close as you're gonna get. It's a very much kids movie though.
Yeah, it's very
good.
And I watched it. I thought it was cool. I wouldn't put it on
like the effects and everything.
I don't know. They hit me differently. I don't know. I thought they were good. Like some Pokemon I thought were really good, and some others I was like, well, that one didn't look great. I feel like they made every character look furry, even though not all.
Yeah, from what I've heard is a lot of those decisions were from Nintendo themselves or from Game Freak. I can't remember, or the Pokemon Company, I should say. Because they wanted to make Pikachu look different. They didn't want him to look as furry. But they're like, no, you have to make him furry. So okay.
Imagine if he was just flesh. No fur. Just
well, I think they wanted to make him look more like a rodent, right? Because he's supposed to be a rat. Yeah. So they wanted to make him look like that, but they're like, no, make him more furry and more cuddly.
And you kind of just briefly brought up Sonic. I honestly didn't think it was going to be good, and I enjoyed it. I thought it was all right for what it was. I thought it was pretty decent.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
I don't know if I'd watch it 100 times, but I'd watch it again if it was just on. I'd probably watch it. I thought it was all right. I really just like that they listened to the feedback from everyone when they showed the first release of Sonic, and everyone
To
was
make
like,
him look
"Oh my
good.
god, what did you do?" Yeah, and then they
Yeah.
fixed them, and I was like, "Oh, that looks way
Yeah.
better."
I feel like
Yeah.
that was their whole scheme to begin with, just
Then-
to generate attention
Yeah.
Well,
from
yeah,
the
it makes
internet.
people go like kind of pay attention to the movie because they're like, "Oh, well, let's see how well they fixed
Yeah,
them."
I
Or-
bullied this person into fixing this, and then they feel good and they watch the movie, and then Sonic's like the company sitting back there like, you did nothing.
How is Jim Carrey?
Oh, it's been a while since I've watched it, but I did like Jim Carrey. I thought he was what's the name of that guy? Doctor Eggman.
I think Dr. Eggman or Dr. Robotnik. Yeah.
Dr. Robotnik. I enjoyed his character, but I kind of enjoy almost everything that Jim Carrey does. Like he's a pleasure to watch. So
right, he's so interesting because he's so crazy, but then he's just so good at what he does.
Yeah, back in the day, he was just I always loved him. Now I think his personal life, I think he's a little nuts in his personal life, but I almost still watch whatever he makes.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, it's gonna be good.
I was like, he's still my childhood hero. So
the movie that I've watched and liked was the new Tomb Raider, which I know I don't think a lot of people watched it or thought it was amazing, but I thought it was a good adaptation from the game. They removed a lot of stuff, which from like the rebooted games, which I thought made sense to do for a 2-hour or something movie, as opposed to like a very long game where you can fit all that stuff in narratively with the movie, and it doesn't get complicated.
A game is like 8 hours of playtime, whereas a movie is like we only have like 2 hours to keep someone's attention.
Yeah, so like a majority of the characters were cut, which they're essentially side characters you didn't need for the primary story, which I understand.
I watched that, but it was a while since I watched it. That was supposed to be the first new Tomb Raider game, right? Like the one where she's on the island.
Yeah.
That new one? Yeah, okay. That's from that series. Because I did realize, I played the game, I watched the movie. Mm-hmm. Watching it, I was like, this is very much like that first video game.
Yeah.
But yeah, there is a lot cut from it, and it was almost disappointing to people who have played the games, because I was kind of disappointed in the movie. But my girlfriend who didn't play the game enjoyed the movies. So.
Yeah, because like you didn't need all that. Like for general movie audiences, you didn't need all that extra stuff. And it, like for me, it's like, oh, it sucks that they removed this character or this story. I'm like, but what would it have added to the main story, which is you're trapped on the island and there's this like spiritual thing happening, which happens in like pretty much all Tomb Raider games. But they kept the core premise of the game in the movie, which I thought they did pretty well, and I think they're making a sequel, so I'm looking forward to that. But other than that, I haven't really seen a good like video game movie.
So I think I wonder if that's what's kind of making them not want to come out with video game movies, because there'll always be people who are disappointed with how much is cut. But I would watch an 8-hour Gears of War movie if they made one.
I think it's tough to nail that. How do you take, something that was designed for a game, like a story that was designed for a game. Yeah.
For a reason, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Like you're not gonna have characters aren't gonna look exact, so their salary.
Right. And like for myself, when it comes to like video game movies, the one that I actually really enjoyed was actually the World of Warcraft one. But
that was pretty good.
Yeah, for graphics wise and stuff, even though I feel like some of the acting was like bad, but for the storyline of it, because I read all those books like of the lore of like World of Warcraft and everything, so I knew a lot of like what was going on just by that. And then I was but every time they wouldn't explain something in the movie, I would like pause it and then be like, okay, so this is why this is happening, because blah 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 blah. And my boyfriend's like, I didn't ask for this.
Yeah, that's me. I do the same thing.
I'm like, this is so and so. Actually, in the actual lore, this is what happens. But I would give this one like an 8 out of 10 for adaptation. They have the right idea, and he's like, shut up.
Exactly. To your non-gamer partners, they're like, this is an alright movie.
Yeah,
and then you're sitting there pausing it. You're like, let me break this down for you.
Let me just explain this.
I do that.
Yeah,
I do that with my brother sometimes too. Like because we watch the Marvel stuff, and I read the comics, and I'm like, well, in the comics, this is what happened.
See, but that's why I sit
people
next,
hate us.
when I sit next to Till in the movies, like when we go to when things were open, whenever we used to go to we'd see almost every Marvel movie that came out in theaters, and I would always want to sit next to Till because Till can tell me background information about things that like nobody else really knew.
And then the person in front of us is like, "Can you guys shut up?"
Yeah, can
you watch a movie?
I watch this in peace.
Like there were some characters that I hadn't really like just I remember even just for one instance like when in I think it was Captain America Winter Soldier, and they're going through the algorithm and they're talking about which characters they're targeting, and like I remember like they're like, yeah, like Bruce Banner, and Till's like, that's the Hulk, and then I was like, Stephen Strange, who hasn't even been introduced yet, and he's like, that's Doctor Strange, and like Till was just like he would tell me each character that they went through, like
I think we all have that one Marvel friend. Like mine was my boss, and I wouldn't. If I watched a movie, or even if I didn't, and the movie came out, I would ask him about it, and then he would explain what the movie was about, and then the comic books of his predictions and all this jazz. And I enjoyed knowing that stuff rather than actually going to watch the movie. I was like, I basically watched it.
Well, I think the comic book movies are a good example of, because there was a time where they've made those and they just didn't work, just like the video game movies. Yeah, and like they figured out that formula and how to make it work and which directors and stuff to use and everything, and like getting like actual fans of the stories and the comics and everything. I feel like that can happen with video game movies, and maybe
it will. It definitely will.
Yeah, and maybe that's happening with the Uncharted movie coming out. It seems like they're putting a lot of.
Tom Holland's supposed to play.
Yeah, he's playing Nathan Drake.
Spider-Man.
I think.
It looks like they're putting a lot of effort and everything into that movie. So I don't know. I think like maybe if there's like a first like really good video game movie, it might be Uncharted. And Tom Holland's a good actor and everything. So I don't know. I'm looking forward to that.
For sure. Yeah.
Let's wrap this up because or the E3 part of it, because we're missing a lot and I just want to go through it. After the Xbox showcase on June 13th, announced today, there's the Square Enix conference. I know Court and I will be excited for that. That is 40 minutes on the same day as the Xbox One. It is so the Xbox One is it's 90 minutes for the Xbox showcase. That starts at, so I'm going to go on your time, Pacific time. So that's the Xbox One is at 10 a.m. and the Square Enix showcase is at 12:15 p.m.
Oh no, what day is this?
This is on the 13th.
Yes, I don't work. Excellent.
So we'll react to that. So 40 minutes. You're probably looking forward to the new Life is Strange True Colors. That was announced earlier.
Oh my god.
For me,
so stoked.
I'm looking forward to new updates for Marvel's Avengers. I'm enjoying that game.
Oh, nice.
There's probably a lot of other games that we're gonna look forward to there.
Hopefully, Final Fantasy.
Yes,
maybe.
Of course.
Yeah, that's a really
for sure they'll show that.
They have to, and because it's like now that they made the first part, they're like now we're dedicated to like continuing the game because it took so long for them to even come out with that game, and it'll be so interesting to see if they announce it, what they show, and where they're going to be taking the story, because the end of the first part was just opened it up for so many possibilities, and I'm so excited to see where they take it.
Which one are they on now? Is that going to be 8?
No, this is 7. Oh, well, okay. So 2 things. So there's like part 1, which is the
Final remake
Fantasy
of the
remake.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they have to continue the other parts to complete the story because it's a remake from the original one, which they in the newest one. Yeah, they only did like barely the first disc, but they kind of changed the ending, so it's going to be interesting to kind of see where they go from there. And then the next new Final Fantasy game is, I think, 16.
Yeah, part of the main series that they're continuing.
Yeah, and that one I think is only for like PS5 and PC. So
another game I've never played, but it does look really cool.
It is visually looks very cool. I'm not into those types of games. So
I'm not either. They look cool, and everyone, some people who are not big gamers, usually like that's like one of the ones that they get into.
Music's good too, like the music.
Yeah.
What, Final Fantasy?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always. I think I think one of the creators who's on the team for making this like Final Fantasy 16 is I forget where I heard this, but it has something to do with the online game as well. It's like the same universe, I think. I'd have to look into it, but I think someone told me that, and so that's like I'm even a little bit more excited because the online game was like is really good.
So let's continue going here. So I'm gonna try to keep this podcast under an hour, but let's keep going. After that, on the same day is the Future Game Show. This is actually presented by Games Radar, which is the article I'm reading. So I think I watched this last year. I honestly don't remember what was showcased. If this is like a bunch of indie games or what, I can't remember. What I'm learning for the first time though, reading this, is it is being hosted by voice actors Laura Bailey and Troy Baker. So that's interesting.
Troy Baker is one of my favorite. I think he's my favorite
voice actor.
And Laura Bailey is my favorite voice actress. But I have noticed that Laura Bailey is in almost everything now. And
yeah, for sure, she's like one of the biggest names.
Yeah, she's in Halo. She's in Gears of War. She was Widowmaker, or not Widowmaker. Sorry, she was Black Widow.
Yeah,
she's in everything. And to me, lately, all I'm hearing is Kate's voice from Gears of War now. So I feel like she's not changing her voice.
Oh, she can. She can do a lot of different voices. She does a.
She can, but I'm not. I haven't been hearing it lately, which has been disappointing to me.
So I mean, you don't always have to have a completely different voice every time. You just have like different inflections and everything for your specific character. But like she does a Dungeons and Dragons show, very popular on Twitch. And she does a lot of different voices for different characters there, so I know that she has like a big range of voices that she can do. But next up that day is the PC gaming show. I remember this is where I first learned of that Maneater game that is now on Game Pass. It was first shown at the PC gaming show, so you get a lot of gems like that. I will say it's not as like entertaining as some of the big stuff like the Xbox showcase and Nintendo. But hopefully this year's different and it's more of a spectacle, and there's a lot of other big games that are shown to the PC gaming show. And I think that's brought to you. See, they're not mentioning here because it's a competitor. I think it's from like PC Mag or something like that. I know that they host the show, so. And surprising me a little bit today was announced Warner Brothers is doing their own thing too, which I think makes sense. There's a lot of Warner Brother games that are coming out, a lot of big name ones that people are looking forward to. I'm reading this for the first time. Back 4 Blood is part of the Warner Brothers show. I did not know that was a Warner Brothers published game, so that's interesting. But Gotham Knights, Suicide Squad, Hogwarts Legacy are some of the games that Games Radar is mentioning.
Legacy. I watched that Hogwarts one, and two of my coworkers said it was like they can't wait to play that. And my girlfriend's a Harry Potter fan. She thought it looked very fun, so I have high hopes for that one as well.
I think Court and I watched that, and it looks really good. So yes, I'm excited for that. I think it's pretty funny that they're showing off their own showcase when a very short while ago AT&T was saying that they might sell off Warner Brothers games. So so that's that's interesting. June 14th, Games Radar is saying that Capcom and Take-Two Interactive is doing stuff, which I guess I'm just learning about right now. So it looks like on the 14th we're going to get stuff from Capcom, Take-Two. I'm hoping there's GTA 5 announcements for Take-Two's presentation, so we'll see.
Do you mean GTA 6?
GTA 6. Yeah. What did I say?
5.
GTA,
I was
yeah,
like, oh,
GTA
more.
6.
I was like, oh, more stuff for
Now,
5, eh?
now,
Yeah.
now I say that,
come out with
but
another
they're
one.
going to be releasing GTA 5 for the next gen consoles. So I mean, it's possible that they could be showing more GTA 5 stuff.
Which GTA consoles are you talking about? I
The
mean,
next
sorry,
gen
what's
Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5. I think they only announced PlayStation 5.
Is it GTA? You can already play GTA 5.
You can play the PS4 version of GTA 5 on PS5, but there's no PS5 version of GTA 5 yet.
There's not a Series X one?
No, you can play the Xbox One or Xbox 360 version of GTA 5 on the Xbox Series X.
No, that's okay. so if I buy the new version, that's when it'll have even more graphics. Man, I'll buy
this game. If Take-Two is smart, because every publisher's once a number of publishers started doing this, saying if you own this game, you get a free upgrade to this game. Most publishers are doing that now. The few that haven't, EA, they got pressured into doing that because people are like, what the fuck, I already own this game, why don't I get the free upgrade? So it's pretty much industry standard now. If you have the previous gen version, you get the free upgrade. So
which makes sense.
Yeah.
Graphic, why am I paying like exact
Take-Two definitely does not need to do that. They can be like, yeah, here's the same version of the game we've already released several times. Go ahead and buy it again, because it is one of the best-selling games ever. So they could absolutely do that, and people will buy another version of the game.
See, GTA 5, I bought it for 360. I got it for PC, and I got it for Xbox One. So I will not be buying it again. So just
no.
You say that, but they're gonna add a new feature or something that you want to play, and then you're gonna end up buying it again.
They probably will.
On the 15th is the Nintendo Showcase. That's the big one, I think. That's the one I'm most looking forward to. So I cannot wait. We'll probably see more stuff on the Pokemon games. Maybe Splatoon 3. Probably the next Breath of the Wild, or more stuff for Skyward Sword. I honestly, maybe some stuff for Metroid, I'm hoping. I don't know, honestly, what else they're going to showcase yet. We don't really know much else about Nintendo's plans for 2021, because this is all going to be 2021 games that they're showcasing. So probably not Metroid, let's be honest. But I don't know what else is coming out other than like Mario Golf. So what else are we going to see?
Mario Golf sounds so good.
Have you ever played Mario Golf?
I have not played Mario Golf. It sounds super fun. Like, with the pandemic and everything, I'm looking forward to getting I kind of almost just want to get a Nintendo just so I can play some of these games.
The Switch is a fantastic console, I will say.
It really is.
Yeah.
My girlfriend was like, "Do you want a Switch for Christmas last year?" And I said no, because I didn't think I'd play it.
Good, because now you can get the Switch Pro that's going to get announced.
I should have got one though, but yeah.
Well, maybe I'll be selling mine if they announce a Switch Pro. So.
All right, I'll take you up on that if you do.
You got my custom back white plate that I got on mine installed. Yeah, and that's it. Then they have a mention that EA Play is happening July 22nd, so there's not going to be like a big showcase of EA stuff this year, it looks like. They're going to be doing their own thing in July, which makes sense. I think after the last year during the pandemic, everybody did their own virtual stuff rather than having one dedicated show to everything, and I think it freed up a lot of publishers saying like, hey, we actually don't need E3, we can do our own thing. It makes sense that they're all doing it around this time. This is the time that they want to show their investors, hey, this is what we're working on to sell during the holiday season, right? So it makes sense they're all doing it around this time. It also makes sense that there's game delays and everything like that are a result of the pandemic, and why EA is going to be delaying until they're ready to showcase stuff July 22nd. So that makes sense to me. But I think there's so much stuff to see and talk about, and keep in mind, nothing about PlayStation. The only thing we might see is during the Summer Game Fest opening, we might see some stuff about PlayStation. But other than that, they haven't announced a state of play or anything. They just showcased their stuff for Horizon Forbidden West, which looks fantastic. So I'm looking forward to that game. But other than that, I don't think we have like any news or anything on what PlayStation is going to be showcasing around or after E3.
Same.
I'm excited.
I thought they would have had something.
I think they did skip out on the last E3, if I remember correctly. I might be wrong. I don't know.
Well, they made their own direct, didn't they?
Yeah.
Like their own Sony thing. So
Yeah,
that's
I don't think they
they'll probably do this year.
weren't. I don't think they were actually physically at E3, like the convention. I don't think they were actually physically there, but they might have held their own state of play. Which
Yeah.
Nintendo is the same way. Like they don't actually go to E3 anymore. They just have there might be like a booth for one game, but they just do their Nintendo Direct. They don't have like a big stage presentation anymore. I think Nintendo's the only one of the three that do that, but everything's virtual this year, so none of that really matters. So it's gonna be an interesting E3. I think if this E3, there's clearly a need for the industry to revolve around E3, but then you have stuff like Summer Game Fest where it's like this stuff is gonna happen anyway. It doesn't matter who hosts it. And I think just sort of the negative press the ESA has got, even with and especially with the pandemic last year where they had to just completely cancel the event. I think this year is going to be like make or break if E3 is going to continue, in my mind anyway, in my personal opinion. I feel like if people don't watch or show up, E3 is probably going to go away. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. This might be the last E3 in my mind.
Well, it's good that we're doing this now.
Yep. So we're finally getting together and planning ahead for the very last one.
Yeah, exactly. And then next year we won't have this.
Yes. Goodbye. This is a one and done thing. In terms of the podcast, like before we leave out, this is we're very much centered around like E3 and what we're expecting and everything. I don't think we've really discussed as a group what our plans are for the podcast or what our expectations are. I haven't had any discussions with you guys about that at all. So I don't know if you guys have any thoughts on that.
I think once I get my setup going, I'll be then I can once I get the equipment I need all set up and whatnot, I should be able to attend to more of these, and we can that way we can kind of have meetings beforehand where we can talk about how we're going to do it, and I can also
for sure
join in on more streams as well. So I get more stream. Finally got a PC this year, so and got it all set up, and it's pretty. I guess I know nothing about computers, but I guess it's pretty powerful. So I'm excited to get it working. So
you got some help.
Yeah.
Any lasting thoughts, Court? I don't know if we lost Court.
We lost her.
All right. Well, I mean, for me, this isn't just for like expectations and everything. We had the discussion: is this going to be a weekly podcast? I don't think so. I don't know how well we can commit to having a weekly deadline.
Yeah.
To do all that.
I would be okay to starting if we could get like 2 a month. So maybe
I think I'm right there with you. Like trying to aim for 2 a month.
2 a month.
I think ideally is like whenever we're able to get together and we have stuff to talk about.
We are on different time zones too, some of us, so we are.
Yeah.
That's also
there is a fourth host that's part of this as well, who is on the other side of the planet. Hello, Court.
Oh, I'm back. Okay, yes. Cool.
So it's hard enough for us. We're on 2 different time zones here. It's hard enough for us to try to plan together, let alone trying to get 4 of us all together when we're in completely different time zones. I keep having Bell Satellite. According to my phone, I don't think it's actually Bell Satellite calling me. They call me like once a day. It says scam call. Getting annoying. They're calling me during the podcast now. But
I get calls for my ducks.
Yeah, but we'll probably have like alternating hosts here. So whenever, I think the idea is whenever we have stuff to talk about, we'll get together and talk.
Yeah. In case you missed it, Courtney, I think we said we were aiming for, like, at least for the beginning, to maybe hit about 2 podcasts a month, so maybe every other week or so, to start out and see. Since I know it's going to be hard for us all to link up our times together, I guess.
And I think we lost her again.
It's okay. I'd like to say that a third time.
Well, we might not get to it. I think that's going to be the end of the podcast here. We're about an hour. So I think we've thoroughly went through the E3 showcase, what's been announced so far, what we expect to see, as well as our favorite video game movies. It was a great discussion.
Yeah, I'm always great at talking about that, and what do you call it? Just some just kind of losing your way while you're talking, discussing about things.
Yeah, absolutely. We will. If there's one thing that you can count on from the Spawn Trap podcast, is that we will continually lose our way. And that is it for the test podcast, or episode 1. We'll see what happens. Thank you for listening. If you want to follow us, we're still setting stuff up. So we are on social media at Spawn Trap Games. There will be, if you're watching this on YouTube, there will be links in the description down below. If I do upload it to YouTube, I have no idea. And for the live stream stuff, we are on Twitch at Spawn Trap Games as well. So in terms of the podcast, where you can get an audio podcast, well, hopefully this test podcast helps out with setting all that stuff up. So we'll see. I don't have a link or anything set up yet. So that's coming soon. But thank you for joining me again. Do you want to tell people, if I do upload this somewhere, do you want to tell people where they can follow each of you?
Is my mic working?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay.
Mine's Local Talent 03 at pretty much all of my social medias, I believe, is the
except for your Twitter
thing. Except for my Twitter.
You need to claim that now.
Yes, that's true.
Yes.
I can change it to that. But yeah. Anyways, before we lose Courtney, I think we were aiming to get about 2 podcasts a month. So maybe just to start off, we do like 1 every other week or so.
Yes, I'm down. Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can. All right.
Court, where can everybody find you?
At twitch.tv/CourtFTW, and that goes along with the same, or that is the same for all of my other social media platforms. Also, anything to do with Streamers Unknown, like my website, you can find me updating and doing a couple of posts here and there about streaming stuff and streaming news related. So yeah.
You can find me at TillPlays everywhere. Thanks for watching, or listening, I guess, in this case, to the Spawn Trap podcast. Hopefully, we will see you soon to talk more video games. Bye.